Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for Chapter 408 of Tower of God, or Season 2, Episode 328. So either way, I really loved this one. I think that even among the really good chapters that have been going on for basically forever, and I say it every week, so I'm trying not to repeat myself here again, but even among all the good chapters we've been getting, this one was really good for a few different reasons. We had two main parts. We had Rack versus Levy, basically, kind of. It wasn't necessarily a traditional 1v1 normal fight, necessarily, but it kind of was in some ways. But either way, we got that. We got two very rare things in one, or two things that I think a lot of us have been waiting for in one chapter. So that itself is incredible. And that's Bomb finally getting the Black March back. We finally have Bomb with Black March again. And in addition to that, we also finally have Rack winning something. We have spent so much time with Rack either shoved to the background or losing everything he comes near, that it's really cool to see him actually get a good character moment. It's cool to see Rack actually succeed, actually win. So yeah, this was very good for both of those parts, and because I think CU wrote a way to really make fans happy with this one, but I'll get into that as we get to it part by part. I'll start with the beginning. Rather than the cold open, I guess, that we typically have, we start off with the title card. And going from there, we see Rack staring at the flames, thinking that he's seen Evankel's flames before. And I looked it up. I mentioned a comment before, and it was Slayer nominee who commented, saying that maybe we know Evankel went from battlefield to battlefield facing warriors and stuff. It's very possible that Rack could have seen Evankel come to the place where he lived and fight a battle. So it's entirely possible that that's where he's seen the flames before. So I think that's really cool. Because they said that like weeks ago, I think. At least a week or two. But then Levy notices Kunagru Agnes, says that guy is probably important because of the way they're carrying him around in that case, so he's going to try to steal him. Haku protects Rack from the first attack because of course he can see the future. Then the question mark curse is used on Haku, and we have this cool development where it can only be used on one person at a time. I like that we got a few different things like that where the powers did have specific rules and limits and stuff like that. So we learned about that. Rack is powered up. He's stronger with his rock control. Possibly either one of two things. Either he's being influenced by being near the flames, or I guess one of three things. Either since he unlocked his ability to use this ancient power and to use the rocks, it's been steadily growing ever since he unlocked it. That's one possibility. Another likely possibility is because he's around Evankel's flames, there's some sort of resonance between people with ancient powers, and because of that, it's making him stronger temporarily. Or it could be a permanent thing where because he's being around a person with ancient powers, him being around them is unlocking more of his powers. So it could be any of those three things, but either way, Rack is getting powered up. He uses this really awesome rock control, and the fight is basically Levy saying, you know, your friend is going to be killed by my curse, but Levy's not really able to get any of his own attacks off. He's only able to just constantly use the Hair of the Saint spell to keep dodging Rack's constant onslaught of rock attacks. So eventually he can't dodge anymore. He's getting caught by the rocks, and he says, you know what, I'll release the curse. I'll stop going after the blue guy. I'm done here. Just let me go. And Warian's like, okay, yeah, that kind of works. And she warns Rack not to use his power too much anymore, or someone might notice. Again, kind of pointing out that it could be dangerous for him to display that he has the power of the Ancients. Of course, whether that's from Zahard's group, who would want to maybe kill him because he has the power of the Ancients, which is possible, or from Evankel herself, because Evankel might want to steal it or something if she has the power to take the power of the Ancients. Because of the way that Rack is a pure-blooded Ancient, but they never say that Evankel is related to the Ancients. They say she has their power. And she has those scars with those grafted, either darker or lighter skin tone parts on her, so it's possible that she somehow stole the power of the ancients from someone who had it. And if that's the case, then Rak could be in danger even from Evangel. But I highly doubt it. Evangel's more on the good guy side of things here. More on, like, our side of things here. So then, what else? Yeah, I thought that all that was a really great combination of action and comedy, because there were a lot of funny bits with Rak. And I loved seeing, right at the end before we cut away, seeing thoughts and perspective from Rak's point of view. Because we rarely get to see that. We rarely get to see what Rak is thinking and see things from his perspective. So I thought it was good that we did there. Even simple things like that do a lot for characters and writing in a story. It's always good to pay attention to which characters you are and aren't allowed to see their thoughts and what they're thinking, because there's usually a lot of importance in that. But either way, going on to the second main part of the chapter, with the fight with Bam and everything. So Shua Arthur steps in to fight Yu Han Sung. Misang powers up Andrasi's attack, but Andrasi is still easily blocked by Charlie. And she's like, this obviously isn't going to work. He's a ranker, even if he's a weaker ranker. But Bam tells Andrasi to go to be the bong bong driver. We say it all the time, Andrasi is bong bong driver. To basically bong bong in there and bong bong out of there with the hostages. So Bam tells Andrasi to go be bong bong driver, and that he with Misang will be able to hold off Charlie for maybe 5 minutes. Of course, he was totally wrong, but that was his expectation. So he uses the water Shinsu cannon, and Charlie responds by, again, blocking it, but using a move called White Light Noise. And I think when he blocked it, it was called White Light something else, so that's his general thing. But he said this move was White Light Noise. Cutting away before seeing the effects totally, Chonhee blocks Yuri's path off, and then cutting back, Charlie explains that his noise skill hazes the senses, in specific he says sight, hearing, and touch. It hazes the senses of whoever it hits. But, so, he pretty much just destroyed Bam, could have easily killed Bam there if the circumstances weren't in his favor. But still, it was good. I'll get into it in a second. Let me finish the more recap-ish kind of stuff. But he mentions that it doesn't work well against rankers, which I think is good, to show that he is a weak ranker because his move is to null senses and then get an easy attack off, really. And he wouldn't be able to do that with people the same strength as him. He wouldn't be able to either numb their senses as much or maybe even numb them at all, because it might be an all-or-nothing thing with whether he numbs them or not. So if that's the case, then he really wouldn't have much of a chance against normal people that are his same strength, but people weaker than him he can completely dominate. So that kind of shows that it's kind of a good balance for him. It shows how he is a weak ranker, or how he is one of the weaker rankers, and how he's kind of a newbie ranker as well. But at the same time, it shows the difference between just the skills any ranker is accumulated compared to a regular. But I think this is still written really well. The director comes in with Great Whaley, which I thought was adorable, Great Whaley. And then he pulls out the he meaning Charlie, he pulls out the transforming needle, orange snake, and Black March is teleported in and blocks the attack. Now the green teleporty stuff, I guess it's Yuri that can do this. I'm not sure how she's done it. It still hasn't quite been explained, but she has some sort of green teleporty stuff. I guess it's her own version of something similar to what Bong Bong would be. And that's where we end off with Black March blocking the attack and Bam getting Black March back, which is hype. But I think this is great. Not only am I so hype for Black March Bam, and Rak gets a good win from this chapter and character development. I think that this was really well written to, I don't want to say appease fans, but it's written in a way where we've been waiting to see this for Rak, we've got it, but more than Bam getting Black March back, there are these fans that, even though again it makes no logical sense that even Bam, as strong as he is, would be able to stand up to a ranker, and CU himself has said Bam's a third of the way up the tower, he's nowhere near a ranker's power. Even though CU has said that himself, even though it's clearly written in the story, there's still so many people that thinks Bam is ranker level for whatever reason, and this writes in a way that I think all fans can be happy, because most fans that know what they're talking about, I guess, can be happy because Bomb isn't near a ranker strength, but it doesn't make Bomb look pathetic, it doesn't make him look weak or useless, and now he's got circumstances that favor him. He's got the Black March, which is entirely OP, and if he can ignite it, that might close the gap a little bit more. It might actually allow him to hold off for 5 minutes. It might be a little bit bullshit if he just goes on a complete rampage and is destroying people, but like, if he holds them off for 5 minutes using the Black March, then it could make a lot more sense because he's already a strong regular, and you throw Black March on top of that and it's going to make him even stronger. So it both sort of shows the difference in how far Bomb needs to come, how much more he needs to develop, but he still looks cool. He still looks useful. It doesn't make him look dumb. It doesn't make him look useless. So I think this is written in a way that Bomb is good either way. And something else that is, I noticed somebody said, I think it was in the comments, why didn't Bomb just immediately go with his Black Shinsu form and stuff, or the Burnt Chestnut form? And I think the reason he didn't quite go straight into using all the Thorn stuff he has and like everything he's got going is because it was so quick. I mean, he only got a chance to like throw one attack and then he got blinded. So I think he probably would have used that if he would have been trying to hold him off for 5 minutes. But from what we saw, he just shot one attack and then got blinded, so there wasn't really much time for him to do any of that kind of stuff. But yeah, either way, I thought it was incredible. I'll give it 10 Whaleys out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10 because not only was it good throughout, it gave us 2 distinct sections that were both well written. I think the biggest part in me giving it such a high score is that CU found a way that, instead of writing it one way that's going to make one set of fans be like, well, I don't quite agree with that, or writing it another way that another set of fans wouldn't agree with, he found a way that makes Bomb work for both, which is really good. And in addition to that, just seeing Bomb with the Black March again and just seeing Rack get to have a moment finally, both of those things are great. So I'd actually give this one 10 out of 10. I loved it. And God, Tower of God's just been so good lately. But either way, we'll continue on next week. So, oh yeah, and we have a Haku Q&A that's going to be coming up sometime this week, as soon as I can get it done. So either way, like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this week's chapter, what you thought of my thoughts on it and all that. Subscribe for more. Tower of God, much more on the channel, tons of other things. Sorry, I was thinking about something else. Follow on Twitter if you want, and I'll talk to you there, keep you updated there with the stuff on the channel. Or if you want to talk to me or more of us about Tower of God or anything else on the Discord server, just ask and I'll give you a link. It's free and open for anyone. So that's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.